Welcome to the Explainer. So, I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow morning and deciding right then and there to completely scrub sugar from your life for the next 30 days. I am talking about a total, absolute blackout. No chocolates, no sodas, no cookies, no ice cream, and definitely not those supposedly healthy granola snacks that are just loaded with hidden syrups. For most of us, that sounds, well, literally impossible, right? But what actually happens to your complex biology when you just stop eating sugar for an entire month? Does your skin clear up? Do you drop weight? Do those intense afternoon cravings just magically disappear? Or does your body start begging for it like an addiction? Today, we're diving deep into the exact timeline of a 30-day sugar detox. Because the literal second you stop consuming sugar, your body notices. And trust me, it is not subtle. In our modern world, sugar really isn't just food anymore. For so many of us, it's become a daily habit, a physiological reward, and a massive comfort zone. So when you suddenly yank that away, your brain has a very dramatic reaction. The first few days are way harder than most people expect. You start obsessing over desserts. Even plain, boring carbohydrates that you normally wouldn't look twice at suddenly seem completely irresistible. Your brain is, quite literally, sitting there asking, wait a minute, where did my happiness go? To track how your body adapts, we are going to follow a 30-day survival map. We'll be looking at week 1, the brutal detox. Then week 2, finding balance. Next up is week 3, the taste reset, followed by week 4, reclaiming control, and finally, we'll look at the long-term reality. All right, let's jump right into week 1, the brutal detox. And honestly, brutal hits the nail right on the head here, because your body is immediately shoved way outside its comfort zone. The hidden biology behind why you feel so incredibly miserable those first few days, it all comes down to dopamine. This is the chemical linked to pleasure and motivation. It's actually the exact same reward pathway that gets activated by certain addictive drugs. Every single time you eat a cookie or crack open a soda, sugar activates your brain's reward system by just flooding it with dopamine. So when you cut that sugar out, those dopamine floodgates slam shut. This completely validates why you might feel terrible, irritated, or just mentally foggy when you skip dessert. You aren't imagining it. Your brain is experiencing legitimate chemical withdrawal. And that chemical withdrawal, it manifests physically. You're looking at intense, all-consuming cravings, irritability and moodiness, the kind that makes you snap at your coworkers for no reason. You'll likely feel low energy and deep fatigue, a thick mental fog, and for some people, pounding headaches. Your body is just desperately trying to adjust to the lack of its favorite quick energy source. The crazy thing is, you truly don't realize how dependent you are on sugar until you try living without it for just 7 days. It is a massive wake-up call. But if you can just white-knuckle it through that initial shock, things really do begin to change. We enter week 2, finding balance. This is the major turning point where your internal systems finally start to level out. Think about your normal day. Usually, you're trapped in what's called the sugar cycle. You eat something sugary, you get a rapid spike in energy, and then, boom, a sudden exhausting crash. That is your classic 2 p.m. slump right there. But in the detox state, those wild extremes just vanish. Without sugar calling the shots, your body relies on natural, stable energy reserves. The result? Consistent energy throughout the entire day. No more afternoon crashes and no more desperate need for a sugary iced coffee just to keep your eyes open at your desk. By week 2, your brain is going to feel significantly calmer too. You aren't constantly distracted by thinking about your next snack. And physically, this is when the visible changes begin. Mental clarity improves and visible bloating begins to disappear. See, sugar causes a lot of inflammation and water retention, so when you cut it out, your stomach often looks noticeably flatter within just a couple of weeks, and you might even notice your face looking far less puffy. But here's the really tricky part of week 2. As you try to eat clean and start actually reading labels, you discover a shocking reality. Hidden sugars are everywhere. It's not just the obvious stuff. It's in baked goods like your everyday sandwich bread. Condiments like ketchup and pasta sauces are just loaded with it. Breakfast cereals, even the ones marketed to adults, are packed with sugar. And the absolute most deceptive culprits? So-called healthy snacks, like protein bars and granola bars. Some of those can contain just as much added sugar as a literal candy bar. You quickly realize the deck has been stacked against you from the start. Now, if you manage to dodge all those hidden sugars, you make it to week 3, the taste reset. And this is where a truly fascinating biological quirk kicks in. I absolutely love this quote from our sources. A banana feels like dessert. By week 3, your actual taste buds fundamentally change. Think about it. When you constantly bombard your mouth with processed, hyper-sweet junk, natural foods start tasting incredibly boring. Your flavor receptors are essentially numbed. But after 3 weeks without that artificial overload, your senses become deeply sensitive again. Suddenly, a crisp apple tastes incredibly sweet. A simple strawberry bursts with complex flavor. And a plain banana literally feels like a decadent dessert. Your brain has completely reset its tolerance to sweetness. And because your taste buds have reawakened, your entire psychological relationship with food begins to transform. You stop eating just for a quick hit of pleasure and a dopamine spike, and you start eating for actual nourishment. You begin to appreciate food for the sustained energy and the nutrients it gives you, rather than just that fleeting 30 seconds of sweetness on your tongue. It's a total mindset shift. Which brings us to the final stretch, week 4, reclaiming control. The daily mental discipline of saying no to the break room donuts and the late night treats, it finally pays off in a major, major way. All of that effort builds into an incredible list of physical victories. By week 4, we're talking better, clearer skin, thanks to reduced inflammation, more stable all-day energy, vastly improved digestion, dramatically reduced or even entirely eliminated cravings, deeper, more restorative sleep, natural weight loss, simply because you've cut out a mountain of empty calories, and razor-sharp improved focus. This is the culmination of the whole 30-day challenge. Your body is finally operating exactly as it was naturally designed to. But honestly, beyond all the physical changes, the weight loss, the glowing skin, the energy, there is one simple, deeply empowering truth. You no longer feel controlled by food. Instead of constantly needing a sugar hit to feel happy or to just function, you realize your body works perfectly fine without it. You break the addiction-like cycle. You are the one in the driver's seat now, not your cravings. So, you've made it 30 days. You crossed the finish line. What happens on day 31? Let's move to our final section, the long-term reality. What does this challenge actually mean for your future? Does completing this 30-day detox mean sugar is completely evil and you are banned from ever having a slice of birthday cake again? Not exactly. The real enemy here is excessive added sugar, the processed syrups pumped into sodas, candies, and everyday junk food by the food industry. On the flip side, natural sugars found in whole fruits come perfectly packaged with fiber and water, and they're easily handled by your body in moderation. The problem is just that our modern diets push sugar consumption so far beyond normal, healthy levels. This challenge simply resets your baseline so you can actually practice true moderation. Let's just recap this incredible biological journey. Days 1 through 7, yeah, you battle through the brutal withdrawal, the intense cravings, and the fatigue. But by day 14, the fog lifts, you have a clear mind, and you notice way less physical bloat. By day 21, your biology actually alters. You experience the taste reset, where real, whole food tastes amazing again. And finally, by day 30, you achieve total control over your diet and your impulses. Now, it might not fix every single problem in your life overnight, but it absolutely transforms your foundational habits. And you know what they say, when you change your habits, you change everything else. Which leaves us with one final, very important question for you to chew on. Are you ready to take back control? If you want more energy, better eating habits, and a genuine mental challenge to prove to yourself that you can do difficult things, then the answer is yes. It will be hard. It will be uncomfortable. But the moment you stop feeding your cravings, you start feeding your actual potential. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope exploring the science helps illuminate exactly what happens when you quit sugar. Until next time, stay focused, stay curious, and hey, maybe think twice about that next protein bar.